All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Rogue Hangout. This is actually our last hangout for 2014. And I'm Alesha Drew, and I'm joined here by John Paul Argentino and Sheena Yap Chan. And our cat's tail, as you can see right here in the picture. And, today we're going to be sharing with you how to get ahead for 2015. Right now, as this hangout goes live, I think there's about 60 hours left in 2014. So 16 of those hours you'll probably be sleeping, 8 hours a night. So that leaves about 44 hours left of work. 44 hours left in 2014 that you can get yourself geared up and prepared to have your best year ever in 2015. So that being said, we want to thank everybody for coming out today. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them below this video. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And I think I'm going to throw it over to John Paul to get us going here for today.
Yeah, so, 2014 so far has been, it's been a crazy year for us. I know that's been filled with a lot more ups than downs this year. So it's one where, we're really proud about that. Apparently my cat is getting down back here. Yeah, hi. Yeah, you just keep doing that then.
Yeah, don't mind her.
Yeah, she's busy. But, well, the cat's back there revving up whatever she's got going on. We are actually going to be talking about how to rev up for 2015. And with it right around the, like as Alesha said, it's right around the corner. Listen, how many hours? 44 hours?
About 60 hours.
I mean,
but
40-something work hours.
44 of work hours, yeah, roughly.
Okay, so plenty of time to set up a campaign, drive some traffic, do some things like that if you want some last-minute boost to your business to close out the year. But what I really wanted to jump into for 2015 was just talking about how much horsepower you can handle. And it's something where we know that going into 2015, I want to basically challenge everybody to realize that it's going to be exciting, going to be challenging, but the reward on the other side of it is going to be well worth it. And when I talk about how much horsepower can you handle, there's one analogy that Alesha and I were talking about yesterday. We were kind of just free-flowing some ideas, and I almost should have just recorded everything because we could have had the whole hangout in a nutshell in what we were just free-flowing with ideas and how we were talking. But, we wanted to talk about who's in the driver's seat for your business and for your life for 2015. There's a reason why a race car only has one driver's seat in it. It's because there's only one person putting the pedal to the metal. And there's only one person taking control of that. And the question is who's in your driver's seat right now? Now, yes, we work the business as a couple, and we benefit each other. And there's parts of things of that, though, where this isn't really about business. It's actually more about, like personal skills, life skills as a whole. And that's an amazing screenshot there. But we want to talk about, man, I got all messed up here. So as you can tell, I have, just to show you guys, I go old school, and I go old school with notes. And a lot of people will be iPads or, digital with everything. My notes are pretty old school. I like to write everything out. Just helps me get everything. But when your notes get that scattered, sometimes it can be bad. But going into 2015, you want to know pretty much about who's on your team, and you get to choose how you're building your team, how you're building your business, who you're surrounding yourself with. It's, your team or your mini army, so to speak. You don't want to take your recruiting efforts ever lightly in any business because, you're only as powerful as your weakest link. And, you don't want to take that lightly. It's one of the most critical things you can do for your business, besides, at least for online, besides driving traffic to your offers and things like that. It's one of the most important things you can do. I know that, when you're building your team, I always look at it this way. You're creating an army of people and that are basically going to be fighting alongside with you and for you when you ask them to. So, these are people that will respect you, people that have the same morals and ethics as you do as well, and people that bring a lot to the table. You know, also try to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. If you don't know a certain aspect of your business, or there's something out there that you're not really too good at doing, you can always feel free to reach out to other individuals that have mastered it, that are smarter in certain areas than you are. I know that when we started recruiting for our team at the beginning, we were pretty much in the, and I think a lot of people, we might not be the only people that do this, by the way, but I believe that there's a lot of people that just accept anybody into their organization or into their business. They just want to open the doors and just say, you know, come one, come all. And what we quickly realized was that that's actually not the way for us. It wasn't the way for us at all. It was something where it basically made our lives actually worse by some of the characters, so to speak, of who we were having join our organization. And these, you know, so when you start recruiting things, you know, people online or people into your business or whatever it is that you're doing, be mindful of the characteristics and traits that you're after and who you're surrounding yourself with. When I say that, I mean, I'm also getting at as well as sometimes who you allow to occupy your time and how you value your time. For instance, let's say that you recruit someone into your business, and you actually have a customer that ends up becoming an affiliate. Well, sometimes when people become affiliates into the marketplace and they're new to this marketplace, they don't really know everything to do. You know, you don't know what you don't know, and that's really true. What can happen is once some people will reach out to a sponsor, they can basically become time sucks if the sponsor or us allow that to happen. And the reason why that happens at the beginning sometimes is because you think that you have to truly hold people's hands, and that's not really the way of actually building it to keep your sanity in check. So I would probably advise against steering away from that sometimes. You know, realize too that people aren't going to be qualified. It's okay to disqualify people for whatever reason. You know, you can disqualify people not to be working with you for whatever reason you want. You know, within reason. You know, there's certain things that you don't want to still go biased against. You know, whether that's age, religion, sex, you know, race, like protected classes, stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about like if you're getting someone's skill level's not up to par and you're basically becoming the answer man with anything, just like, you know, if you were running a retail business, that person would pretty much only last a couple days before you cut them loose and say, clearly this isn't a match. You know, our vision is not aligning with what your vision is. I don't think this will ever be a good fit. You can part ways. I mean, there's no difference in what you're doing. But you want to identify what qualifies people to be that team member with you, you know, and actually clearly identify them. You know, speaking of defining things, I believe that coming into 2015, you know, we reflected back within the last year and a half as far as where we came from, where we've been, kind of where we're going. And for us, what we realized from the beginning, one thing that we did not do that kind of hindered us, was we did not define what set us apart from others within our space, within our niche. And going forward into 2015, if you clearly define what sets you apart, you know, what are some of your core values and the things that basically makes you outshine your competition, you know, reinforce those through your marketing or as you're talking, you know, to people, and just, you know, reinforce that. Put it on paper. You know, reinforce what that is about you that makes you different, unique, special within your niche, and really hone in on that, because those different things that you have, or what makes you different, is actually what will attract certain people to you to help grow your business. You know, that was a key, I think, that we ran into. I don't know, what, anything on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up some really great points there. If you haven't started planning for 2015 already, you're already behind schedule. And that's why we're out here today. We want to put you on schedule and get you ready for 2015. I know that myself, over the years, I haven't been the best person at getting ready for the next year. I've had it all in my head, but I haven't really, you know, wrote it down, put some notes down on paper, and really, you know, targeted right down to what I wanted to achieve in 2015. And this year, we've really honed in on that. And that's what we want to get you guys to really go ahead moving forward with, you know, the 44 hours left of work that we have in 2014. Really hone down on what it is that you want to achieve for 2015. You know, I think a lot of people, I'm going to talk about New Year's resolutions for a minute. You know, the most common way to get ready for the next year is make the typical, you know, New Year's resolution. And that's all good and great, but as we know, majority of people either forget about it or it kind of fades out, you know, within a few days or a few weeks or even a few months. You know, it's so easy for us to say, okay, this is my New Year's resolution, and that's great, but how many of us actually go forward, take action, and get the result that we want from that New Year's resolution? Not many. So we don't want you to be one of those people. We want you to be able to get set for 2015 and have an actual plan of what you want to achieve. So just setting a New Year's resolution isn't enough. That's not going to take you and your business to the next level. You need to actually sit down and work out a plan, work out a game plan. And, you know, I've got a few tips for you guys today on how to actually do that that really helped me hone in on planning for next year. And the first one is to look back on the year. Now, I know a lot of people don't really do this. They'll think about it for a minute, but they won't really sit down and analyze the year that just took place. And this is the first time that I've done this properly, and it's really, really helped me. And the first thing you want to think about is, what did you accomplish? What were your accomplishments for 2014? And don't just think about it. You want to write it down. You know, we're big avid fans of taking notes, you know. I will always take notes over using my iPad or my iPhone or my computer. Just for me, it kind of programs into my brain a lot better. But everybody's different. So you want to write down what you've achieved. What are the things that you accomplished in 2014 that you're proud of? You know, go right back through the year. It might take you a little while to go back, but write all those things down. And then from there, you want to write down your successes. Now, accomplishments and successes can seem very similar, which they are. Accomplishments are things that you achieved, things that got done that you're proud of, that created a good result. But you may not want to implement those in the following year. It doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. You might want to take things to the next level. You might say to yourself, well, you know, I accomplished this year. Now this year I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take things to the next level. Successes are things, you know, that are similar to accomplishments, you know, things that turned out really well in your business and in your life. I mean, this isn't just for your business. This is on an emotional level. This is on a spiritual level, a professional level, you know, a mental level. Look at your whole life and look at the things that, you know, were success. It can be really small things.
Yeah, go through.
You know?
Really, I don't really mean to jump in there, but go through and on a sheet of paper when you start doing your successes, you can basically do a line down the middle both ways. So you basically have 4 corners, 4 quadrants. And those are your 4 pillars of your, you know, that you want to try to focus on. And for us, it's going to be physical. So you'll have your physical part, you'll have your mental part, you'll have your spiritual part, and you'll have your, financial part. There, money. So notice that I had the money part kind of down. That was the last one that was in there for me because it's something that's actually not forefront on my mind, the financial part of it. I know that for the last 2 to 3 years, we kind of got into the habit of chasing money, and we didn't really like where we were going with what it was kind of doing to us and who we were becoming, because it was easy for us to lose sight of who we were when it came down to like our core, like who it was that we are, and what it is that we like in life. And that's why, you know, the financial part of it was actually something that was able to fill in once we had all the other pieces whole. So, you know, for some people, if it's spiritual, you know, you can, if you need church, if you need to meditate more. What I noticed for me personally was it's actually the spiritual and physical aspect of life that for me that's coming in there. That's one where, whether that's meditation, whether that's with exercise, meditation can be a spiritual thing. Spirituality doesn't have to be your faith in God or Buddha or Allah or anything like that. It can be what makes you whole as a person, to clear your mind and make you become one with whatever it is that, total oneness of what you want. You can have a better understanding on your place, where you've been, where you're going. Those things really help. And family. The family aspect of a lot is something where, going into 2015, we reflected back. And for myself, one thing that I was challenged with, that I identified is, this was actually a big failure on my part, was my, I guess I want to say my presence, like as far as being present in the moment with family. That was one thing where oftentimes we'll be into so many different things as an entrepreneur. We'll have our hands in so many different pots, and we'll be doing all kinds of different things, where we will put our obligations to family second. We'll put on the back burner, or if we are dealing with family, it can make everything where you're not present in the moment. You can be having conversations that you're not really even in, and you're not present in the moment. So for 2015, at least for myself, it was being present in the moment while I'm engaging in certain activities, or realizing the significance of what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and kind of what hat I'm wearing or what position I'm in while I'm doing those things, so that if I am dealing with my family or I am living my life like that, then I need to truly be there and enjoy it. And the last night, and I'll just throw this out there. Last night, I actually got hit with a bout of insomnia. I could not sleep. I could not sleep at all. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I was wide awake, just wired. And I had all these thoughts running through my head, and I realized that as entrepreneurs and as business owners, people that are actually out there doing this every day, what can happen is we'll have so many different thoughts going through our mind, and sometimes I realized that the reason why I was not sleeping was because I had all these thoughts about things that I had not accomplished, or things that I was reflecting on that I wasn't present in the moment of doing. And those were things that were just eating at me, and I had to put things down on paper as far as how I wanted to improve things and what those things really were. And so what I realized too was the reason why I couldn't sleep, and was because I had not planned properly. And that was it. It came down to actually proper planning. And when you put things down on paper and you allocate things in a certain way, it allows you to sleep easier, I guess. When you know that you're prepared for whatever it is that may come your way, or you at least have a game plan, everything else starts falling in line, or at least you have something to fall back on to keep you structured. And are you going to nail it 100% of the time to exactly how you planned everything out? No. But at least you'll have a guideline to reflect back on, so you know what, to get you back on track. If your road detoured you a little bit over here, you can at least come back to it. And now you can actually keep going. And I don't know how many other people have had the sleepless nights, as an entrepreneur when they first got into this space or anything with online marketing or business development. But when I reflect back on it, that's what it was. It was actually realizing that I had not planned the way that I needed to plan. And that was what was eating at me. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And once I identified it, I was like, oh, okay, well, now I know that it's actually just proper planning, and I was zoned out. There, it was quick.
Yeah.
But I know I drove you nuts, but,
Yeah, it's such a simple concept, just writing something down on paper or jotting it, down in your iPhone or your iPad. It kind of detaches it from your mind, and it puts it out there in the space so that you're free to move forward. So, yeah, there's some very interesting points there, and so you want to jot down your accomplishments and your successes. What are those things? It might take you a while to go through them, but that's okay. And you'll see them there, and you'll actually feel a sense of accomplishment, achievement. you'll be like, oh, cool, you know, these are all the things that happened in 2014. You know, we rarely take a moment to sit back and, you know, look at what we achieved. We're so busy moving forward, which is great, that we don't take a moment to sit back and look, oh, wow, I did do that. You know, so take a moment and do that. I know that you know, was a really great thing for us when we did that. And, you know, the next thing you want to do, and this is a big one, is look at the things that were distractions for you. And for me, this was very easy to write down. I had a few things this year that were huge distractions for me, and to write them down and to acknowledge that they're there and be aware of it, I can now go into 2015 and remove those distractions. I know for me, Facebook was a big one. We like Facebook to be a moneymaker, not a time waster. We like to give value to people. And I often catch myself scrolling through the news feed and checking out what everybody's doing. And within our space, within the entrepreneurial space, I would always like to check out what our leaders are doing, you know, what the people are in our community are doing. And, you know, that didn't work out too well for me, because I've not only wasted time, you know, I've thrown my mind into 1,000 different directions of what everybody else is doing, that I'm not focusing on what I'm doing. So that was a huge one for me.
And that ties right into your next one, which was the launches.
Yeah. The next one for me was product launches. Now, within your community, within your business, within your space, there may be things that pop up in your organization that come out of nowhere, and bam, they're just there. And for me, it was some of the product launches that we had. I was busy doing a particular campaign, and all of a sudden, a product was launched, and it completely shifted my focus. And, you know, I'm not in control of that sometimes, and that's okay. But moving forward, I want to be ready for that at any time and move forward with that. And the last one, which is a really big one for me in particular, is you don't want to waste time with people that, how do I say this without using
people that suck
profanity.
Your time. They're time vampires.
Yeah, people that suck your time, people that, as we say, people that don't walk the walk, they just talk the talk. Within our space, unfortunately, there are many people that will, you know, either join your team or even not join your team. They'll think about joining, and they come up with 1,000 different excuses as to why they can't join at that particular moment or why they can't join next week. Those types of things. And I found myself in a situation where I'd be messaging with these people, phone calls, emails, text messages, even to people within the team that weren't actually taking any action. I was focusing all my energy on those people, and all it did when I looked back is I saw how many hours of time that I wasted on people who weren't willing to move forward. You know, they were busy talking to me about all of their excuses and how they were going to take action, but that action never took place. So that is a massive one. I don't think only for me. I think that's for a lot of people out there, definitely.
What that boiled down to, at least when you started talking about it, was I identified that there's two things that are involved with that. And it's behaviors and attitudes. Now, from a coaching standpoint, you know, and from like a team building standpoint, we can coach behaviors. You know, if someone's willing and able to show up and do the work that needs to be done to put into themselves, we can help coach that and mold that. And that's what you can do as well. But if there's an attitude, as far as, and by attitude, I just mean also their perspective on things. If someone doesn't believe that they need to go through certain steps, or, you know, their attitude is that, well, you need to invest all this time into me because I need to know everything about any type of opportunity before I take it, before I spend any type of money, even though whether there's a refund policy behind the product or whatever it is, whatever those are all excuses backed by an attitude, because there's not a behavior behind it. A behavior is going to be someone actually doing an action, you know, whether that's buying something, going through part of a course, let's see here, creating advertising, or, you know, running a marketing campaign, things that have some numbers behind them or some results behind that action. Or it could be no results behind the action, but at least there's an action there. But with an attitude, you can't coach that. That can never be molded. You're either in or you're out. You've either bought a product or you haven't bought a product. So those are things that we were able to identify and realize that those are big hindrances, and that's actually a big fault of our own. As far as anybody else's fault, we actually have some very high-level products that actually identify what we were going through, and we allowed it to happen to us. So it's pretty much our own fault on that. We actually have within our master's course, they actually talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big part about what they talk about within the master's course. So if you want to bypass all that stuff, when you get in, just skip all that. We actually have a product called the master's course, which highly recommend it. It'll actually identify a bunch of these same things that we actually went through. But even us, we're human, and we allowed it to still happen. So the main takeaway from that is behaviors and attitudes. There's a difference. You can coach behaviors. You can't coach attitudes. Mm-hmm. If there's an attitude behind it, you will never be able to change that.
Yeah.
When I say what I'm about to say, too, this goes into many different aspects of business. Whether it's in regular sales, anything. If someone's a bastard from the beginning, they're going to be a bastard the whole way through the process. And I mean, if they're just a jerk from the beginning, just all over the place, you can never change that. That's going to be them the whole way through. You're better off just to cut your losses right from the beginning, either hang up the phone, cease communication, whatever it is, just stop. Because if it's like that from the beginning, it's going to continue the whole way through. Those are things that until they make up their mind that they want to be committed, you can never change that. That's something where that comes from within. And really, I know that personally, I don't want to work with someone that's not committed.
Yeah.
And that ties into another thing that we talked about, which was consistency and the whatever it takes. Mm-hmm. And what actually does whatever it take mean to some people?
Yeah. I mean, there's a good old saying, if you force someone against their will, they're going to be of the same opinion still. And I really like that phrase. I heard that and I thought, wow, that's so true. If you force someone against their will, they're of the same opinion still. So don't focus your time with people that are not willing to learn, that are not open, and as you mentioned, that don't have the attitude of I'm here to learn and I don't know everything and I'm ready to get started and I'm ready to take action now. So, consistency is a huge part of that. A lot of people think that, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And a lot of people's version of whatever it takes is putting stipulations on whatever it takes. Now, whatever it takes means whatever it takes. If you need to cut a few hours of sleep per night, if you need to stay up a little bit later, or if you need to not go out to that party, there are a few things that you may need to sacrifice. If you're going to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes, you better do whatever it takes. Don't put stipulations on that. I think a lot of people do that. I mean, we've all done that. We say, we're going to do whatever it takes. But then we don't make those little sacrifices we need to make that really make the big difference. And I think that boils down to the final part in my little planning for 2015 is reinforcement. We've got our accomplishments, we've got our successes, we've got our distractions, and the final one is reinforcement. So you want to look back and think, what are you going to reinforce for the coming year? What were those things that you accomplished? What were the successes? What were the distractions that you're going to delete out of your life and your business? And what things are you going to reinforce? What things are you going to take to the next level in 2015? What things are you going to rev up for next year? What horsepower are you going to throw into particular things to get you into 2015? And if you do that the way that we did that in the last couple of days, you can formulate a plan for 2015. You'll see what worked and what didn't, and you'll be able to move forward when you actually write these things down. Because if you just think about it, it won't have the same effect. Go through, write down your accomplishments, your successes, your distractions, and what you're going to reinforce. And it might take you a few days to figure this stuff out. I mean, I wrote things down, and I was like, oh, that's right, there was that thing. And I went back to my piece of paper, and I wrote it down. It's such a simple format, but it will change things for you in 2015 moving forward. So I think with that being said, we should get Sheena to jump on here and share some of her thoughts. Take it away, Sheena.
Sorry, I had to leave. I had to step out for a bit. I was just starting to choke, and the last thing I need is, you hearing me choking on a live hangout. That would not be cool.
Oh, wow. And just so we know, disclaimer here, Sheena is wearing clothes right now, even though it looks like... So all of you out there that are wondering right now, go. She's in Hawaii chilling out in the sun over there. So,
yeah, I know that over the last couple hangouts, that tan has gotten like progressively more and more
darker.
Yeah.
I think if I stand beside you guys in Vegas, it'll be like a big difference.
It's probably snowing.
Yeah, apparently up in Vegas for New Year's, it's going to be, it might snow. There's a 90% chance of snow. I read this morning. So that's
people don't realize that Vegas is actually cold and windy in January. It's actually
so coming up to the next event, it's going to be very cold and windy. But
at least where the venue's going to be at, it's out by Lake Las Vegas, which actually has some pretty good wind coming up through there because that's right out by the Hoover Dam.
Yeah. So
it won't be as cold.
Yeah, I mean, you're from Canada, so I don't think it's going to be that cold for you, but, you're in Hawaii now, so I think, you're getting used to the sun out there.
Well, see what happens.
Yeah.
But, you guys pointed out some great stuff about preparing for 2015. For me, really, it's just if there's something that you're not letting go right now this year, within the next 44 waking hours, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's time to let it go. Release whatever has been bothering you, whoever you've been pissed at. Just let it all go because you don't want to start the year with that kind of baggage inside you, right? It actually takes more energy for you to be pissed at someone than to, just let it go. I mean, you don't want to start the year like that. You want to be able to start the year with feeling refreshed, feeling very light, right? When you're mad at somebody or when you're pissed at someone and you can't forgive them, that's really heavy, right? And you don't want something that heavy to come into the new year because it just sets your mood the wrong way. And I mean, yes, it's easier said than done, right? Even if it's not your fault, I mean, you're better off just apologizing anyways. And if that person, doesn't accept it, then you know what? At least you took the effort to do it. I mean, and if you don't want to talk to the person, at least just say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to let this go because it's not serving me, right? It's not serving you. And, that's just one big thing I like to say going into the new year because, you're probably watching this thinking, oh, it's all strategy, but really it's mostly your mindset, right? I mean, if you want something different, you got to do different things. Your thinking hasn't gotten you anywhere, so you're going to have to start, thinking differently. And, personal development is one of the biggest things that you need in the next year. And not even in the next year, for the rest of your life, because personal development is a lifelong journey. You have to motivate yourself every single day. You got to train your brain to think differently. It's kind of like your computer, right? I mean, if your computer has a virus inside, what are you going to do? You're going to keep on fixing it until that virus is gone. And that negative thinking, that's your virus that's stuck in your software, in your hard drive, which is your brain. And, it's going to take a while for you to get that virus out, right? Especially if you don't have a virus checker or virus cleaner, or, you know what I mean? Like, you guys have to think of it that way. You have to think your computer is a brain, and whatever you're thinking, you're either storing good stuff or bad stuff. And if you're storing away all the bad stuff, guess what happens when you have all that shit in your head? It becomes a virus. And that kind of virus is very lethal. It can spread like wildfire, and you don't want that in your head. You want to start, inputting your hardware, your computer brain software with good stuff, right? Whether it's reading a self-help book, whether it's listening to positive audio, whether it's even just surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I mean, we listen to great audios, right? We have this product that we call the Inner Circle Audio, and I mean, if you want to learn more about it, just ask us, right? But, this is probably one of the best products I've ever had, just because it just changed the way that I look at things, that I see things. And, I've learned to believe in myself more, all because of these simple audios, right? When you hear stories of people who went from trying to kill themselves to, to living the life that they deserve, I mean, who wouldn't think that's an inspirational story? Or you hear a single mom who used to be an alcoholic is now also living in the beaches of the world or living her life with her daughters. I mean, these are stories that most people don't talk about that are inspirational, and it's proving to others that you can do the impossible. So, that's one of the biggest things you really need to work on, mindset, mindset, mindset. Because think about it, whatever you're thinking right now hasn't gotten you to where you want to be. You're probably still stuck at that job you hate. You're still probably stuck in that relationship that's going nowhere. You're still probably thinking, sitting down on your couch eating Doritos thinking, where has my life been, right? And life can happen, really fast. You don't know what life will throw at you. Like this past couple of days, I've had two people I know, okay? One is a distant relative, and we just found out that her son just passed away, and she was only 18 months old. Imagine that, to end the year that way. Another friend that I just found out, her mother just recently passed away. And these were instances that nobody thought was going to happen, but that's life. Things are going to happen when you least expect it. So instead of you thinking, what's my life going to be like, start living your life. Start going out there and fight for your life, right? Fight for what you believe in. Fight for your dreams, whether it's to, live somewhere like Bali or Africa. I don't know. Maybe you want to climb a certain mountain. Maybe you want to go skydiving. Whatever it is, go live your life out there because, I mean, I'm not telling this to scare you. I'm just telling you this is a wake-up call. What if the next day you passed away? Right? What if you got hit by a car? What if, something were to happen? Because, these people never expected their relatives or their loved ones to pass away. And, it's unfortunate because it's not a great way to end the year. But you know what? They're strong people. They're doing their best they can to deal with the situation. And I always believe things happen for a certain reason, right? Whether, it's how you look at it, right? It's all about perspective. You can look at it in a bad way or you can look at it in a good way. And yeah, it's tough. Yeah, life isn't fair, but these things happen, and it's things we can't control. What we can control is how we treat it, how we look at it, and how we see things, right? I mean, we have a friend, who 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 whose son had what is it? I forgot what it's called. What is it called when they're good at one thing?
Savant?
I'm not sure.
Like a savant?
No,
Like,
I forgot. Anyways,
genius?
no. There's a disease. I forgot what it was, but anyways, instead of them looking at it as something that was bad, they looked at it as a blessing. They said to themselves, God must love me to be able to bless me with this situation, and that He thought I was strong enough to take care of a child with this condition. Right? Most people won't see it that way. Most people would be like, why would you do this to my child? What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Why would you make him have so much hardships? Instead, he saw it in a different light. And that's what you have to do. You have to see things in a different light. Because, yes, there's going to be obstacles that are coming your way, and you're going to think, why is this happening to me? Instead, you could start looking at it saying, what can I learn from this? What am I supposed to, what can I gain from this experience? Maybe because of that certain experience, you might have something better come along. Let's say maybe you just got recently laid off during the Christmas season. Most people would be down and out, depressed. It's like, why would my boss do this to me? Instead, think of it, maybe I was meant to be laid off because I was meant for something better. Maybe I should go out and start my own business because now that I have all this free time and energy, I can focus it on that and create my own economy and not have to worry about, getting laid off ever again. People have to see things in a different light, and especially with 2015, right? I mean, a lot of people, like Alesha said, make a lot of resolutions. I was one of them. I'd wait till January 1st, and when January 1st comes, I'd do it for a week, and then it was done, and then I forgot about it, right? And like most people, they do the same thing, and we're all human, right? We're not perfect, but we have to learn from our mistakes. for me. I don't like doing resolutions. I just like making my goals as they come as they come. So, like with fitness, I don't wait till January 1st. I do it now. I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning just to go out for a run. Why? Because it will benefit me in the long run, right? I mean, I'll have more energy. I'll be stronger. My metabolism will be faster, and I feel great, right? Most people are like, oh, I'm just gonna eat my way through the holidays and then start January 1st. Well, that never happens, right? January 1st, you're still eating a lot of crap. I don't know what you guys, but we still go out for parties and stuff. I mean, when you really, realistically, it doesn't make sense, right? I'd rather just be able to work out during December, you know, have a balance of, what's good or not, and then be able to keep the weight that I'm in instead of gaining all that weight, losing all that energy, and then have to start from scratch all over again. And with your business, you have to do it that way too. You got to start doing things right now. Like, we have our new blog coming out soon, and I was fortunate enough to be in our test group. Did you think I waited till when the company decided to make it public? No, I started the minute I got it. I blogged every single day. I shared it with people. I marketed it, and because of that, I was able to get leads. I was able to get sales, and everyone's results are different, right? You never know what you're capable of. But if had I started when it was supposed to come out, which is like January 5th, I would lose so much in between, right? I mean, I would lose, the income that I was supposed to make. I would lose a list that I was building throughout December, because a lot of people think that December they can't make any money, which is bullshit. December is the best month to make a lot of money. What do you think these retail stores? What do you think these retail stores focus on the month of December? Because 30 to 40% of their sales come from that one month. And people have this idea thinking that you're not supposed to make money over the holidays, which I think is stupid. And I used to think the same way. When I first started, I'm like, I can't take money from people on the holidays. Why not? The NBA does it. They have basketball games on Christmas Day. The movies are open on New Year's Day, on Christmas. They take people's money because they realize that people, when all the other restaurants are closed or all the other places are closed, they realize they can monetize that, because some people have nothing to do on Christmas and they would rather go outside and watch a movie or go watch a basketball game.
Some actually make that a thing where they'll actually have a Christmas movie together, because they only get together once a year, so they'll go spend a couple hours at the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's what some families do. And
I mean, some people don't celebrate Christmas. It's not everybody. That's what people forget as well.
Well, Christmas, what did we do? We actually went and got
anything at Christmas. And even here in Waikiki, if they had that mentality, every freaking hotel in this strip would be closed. And think how much money they would lose in that one day. I mean, you have to start thinking differently. Don't be afraid to take money from people if you have given them the value that they deserve. They say we create our income by the value we give out to the world. And I truly believe that now, right? When you can impact somebody's life, right, they will forever be thankful for you. And they may return the favor in terms of money, in terms of referrals, in terms of amazing testimonials, but whatever positive feedback you get, that will spread like wildfire too. So start creating value out there to the world. Doesn't matter whether it's you start having a blog or you start making crochet patterns. If it can serve the people you want to serve, you will get it back tenfold. And you got to start thinking that way into the new year, that how can I impact people's lives today? How can I help someone change their lives? Because when you can change someone's life, you get it back 100 times better. And it's so true. Like my sister, she's a banker, and everybody loves her. Everybody loves her, not because she's the greatest salesperson, because she treats everyone like she gives them like the best service ever, right? Every time we go to the mall, every time we see a client, all I hear is nothing but good things about what they say to her. It's like, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to get this house. If it wasn't for her, my life would be ruined. And she gets it back, in whether through referrals or Christmas time, she gets like a buttload of gifts because of the value she has provided to her customers. She goes above and beyond. She does a little bit more than the rest. And you have to think of it that way. Whatever everyone's doing, do a little bit more. So, these are some of the things that I would do into the new year. Oh, and it's always great to have a journal. That's another thing, right? Like my cousin gave me this journal, so it's pretty cool because it has like little quotes in between the pages, which is like, whoops, I don't know if you can see it. Like I can write stuff and then I got something positive in it, which is pretty cool, because she knows I like to blog and I like to, write stuff down. And like you guys, I love taking notes. When I'm reading, I take notes all the time because they're great content for videos, great content for live webinars like this. And, it just, you get, for me, it goes, it like soaks up in my head a lot better when I write it down. And because sometimes I get ADD, I get distracted, so I need to go back to my notes and see what I wrote down. But, have some type of journal because there's going to be stories or things in your life that's going to happen, and you can use those stories into your business, into your whatever you're doing, because these people love hearing stories, right? When something happens, you can be like, what can I gain from this story? What can I learn from the story that I can show others, right? So, like I shared with you a lot of stories, right? I shared with you two friends whose your loved ones passed away. I shared a story about my sister. I mean, people remember the stories you tell. So I think that's pretty much it. The main thing is let go of anything, that's holding you back. Let go of anybody who you're mad at. Just don't start the year with something heavy that's inside you. Let it go so you can be light again and you can be able to live the life that you want, that you deserve, and be able to go out there and just crush it.
Yeah, awesome. The beautiful part about forgiveness is that it's free. It's something that you can give out, and it's free, and it benefits you. Regardless of who's on the other end or what's on the other end, if they want to take it or not, that's the cool part, is it's free. You can put it out there to the world. Whatever someone does with it at that point, at least, you've forgiven them. I know that one time I had forgiven my mother for something, and when I told her, hey, look, I forgive you, and she's like, well, I don't get what you're forgiving me for, and some people just never understand, and regardless, it's like, it's okay, and I even laid it out there, and some people sometimes think that, it's not about wrong or right, it's forgiveness, and forgiveness is free. It's just something to get your mind clear, so you don't have to turn that forgiveness into an argument later on, because sometimes some people just won't understand, and it's okay just to continue to let it go, and that's the purpose of it, so you'll feel better. I know, Sheena, you were talking about some people that had passed away, and I know that, at least with Alesha and I, where we're at in life, we started thinking about actual estate planning. As we got older, we actually, and I'm just going to kind of take a little detour here, we realized that some people might not have their affairs in order. We were talking about, well, what happens if, since we travel a lot, we were like, well, what happens if something bad happened to her and I together? What would happen to everything that we had, or things like that? So we actually started, estate planning, and how we had our insurance policies and all that stuff. And there's a free website you can go to, which is actually very simple, and it's called getyourshittogether.org. And it's actually, this website's actually great. Now, it's, even though it's called getyourshittogether.org, I actually got it from Tony Robbins, so he actually put it out there. Tony Robbins put it out there in his new book, Money, Master the Game. I actually finished the whole book and was going through it, and I realized that even though we had a lot of the stuff that we needed in order, we didn't have it structured in a certain way that could protect us, so stuff didn't end up in probate if something bad would have happened to both of us together. With the new airplane that just went down recently, or went missing, aliens are stealing airplanes now because we just can't find them. So it made us go, well, wait a minute, do we have everything that we need in order? Is everything actually structured correctly? So there's a website called getyourshittogether.org. You can go there. It's actually a website where a woman and her children her husband and their father actually passed away, and pretty much uprooted their whole life because they didn't have everything, protected in a way that could make their life easier during this time of grief. And when you go to that site, you actually can get some really good tools on how to actually structure some things that can help benefit you. So go there, check it out. That's just a quick little freebie that can help you out. People think that it takes thousands of dollars to set up like a living trust and all this stuff. It actually doesn't. It's actually a lot easier than most people think. But if you haven't planned out stuff like that, I highly advise just going through that for 2015 and just check some of that stuff out and just create a plan. At least that you can review, once a year or every 6 months or things like that. If you move or you get married or whatever happens, just go back through and update that kind of stuff. I would recommend that for 2015. But one thing that we kind of left out throughout all of this was failure. Failure is a big part of success. It comes hand in hand with it. You cannot have it without success without having some of those failures in there. You cannot learn how to walk without falling down a lot. So it's all these simple things that you will fail on your way to success. So what we were talking about last night was how can we actually accelerate our failure? If we know that we're going to have to fail, how can we actually just accelerate it faster? And it made us think, so if we're out there creating campaigns on Facebook or you're creating marketing campaigns or anything like that, this is just an example. You know that you're going to actually make something that just totally bomb, like just suck, like just get no traffic, get nothing, and you just totally miss the mark. Don't take it personal. Just cut that kind of stuff loose and just let it go. Forgive yourself for it, and get ready to fail again, because the times that when you actually do hit it right and hit the nail on the head correctly and it's perfect and you make that goal or whatever it is, the reward on the other side is so worth it. Now, I've got a little kind of analogy with this, and stick with me when I kind of talk with this, because this is actually a pretty decent one. And if you don't know Australian rules football, another analogy for this could be soccer. And I just say it because how the mechanics of some of the ball movement works out. So at the beginning of the game, everybody kind of goes to the center of the field, and they have like their face off or their bounce up or their bounce down or ball up, whatever you call it. Whatever team takes possession, they actually will normally take the ball, and you'll notice them actually moving the ball backwards, and they'll move it laterally, and they'll move it backwards, and they'll set stuff up before they decide to strategically move the ball downfield quickly to certain places, very rapidly, a lot of times, and then they'll they'll kick the shot for the goal. You'll see it in hockey as well. They'll have the same thing in the middle. Now, if they were to get the ball or the puck, and they were just to take it and just boot that thing from the middle every single time when they got it and go for the goal every single time, what would happen? They would almost 100% of the time not make that goal. It's going to get blocked, it's going to get put down because there wasn't proper planning in place. And so if they know that they're going to fail by just taking that big Hail Mary and just kicking that grand shot from the center every time, why would you continue to do that? They wouldn't. You'd have a coach screaming at you. You'd probably have fans coming on the field and just kicking the crap out of the players, going, "What are you doing?" But it's just kind of idiotic in a way. I would just agree that you would most likely never have. You might have some one fluke shot that would make it on ESPN for some cool shot, like look at this. But if you were to do that the whole game, you know that you're gonna not get the ball through the goal. So why not make yourself, put things in place to actually accelerate that to where you can kick the ball downfield further and faster to have more shots on goal. It's actually shots on goal and getting the percentages up. That's what makes the games. That's what moves the ball. In American football, it's how many completed passes, how many rushing yards, how many times you're moving the ball downfield, without actually taking a loss. So, how can you accelerate that failure? Because, people don't realize that Michael Jordan missed over like 22,000 basketball shots. But the ones that he did make were well worth it, because I don't even know how many championship rings a guy has, but, some of the best out there are missing shots. But at least they're standing up and they're swinging the bat, they're throwing the ball, they're making the shots at goal. So if you do nothing, you're going to continue to be batting zero. which is taking no shots. So the more often you can fail, and the more at bats you have, the better off you're going to end up in the long run, because at least you're there and you're actually present in the moment and you're doing what needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know, don't be afraid to just take the shot. You know, that's
taking, educated risks, educated chances. Don't just hope that it's going to go through the goal. You want a strategic plan set up, and a lot of people, when they think about taking risks, they think it's just, I'll just do this, and they don't have any planning or any thought behind it. But, you want to take educated risks and educated chances, and most of the time, they probably won't come through the way that you want them to. But then if you move forward and you keep repeating and you keep educating yourself and you keep moving forward with that, it will pan out in the end. It takes time, but it will happen. The consistency,
the repetition. It's like the ads. I mean, if you look back at like the first full ad campaign you put together, it was probably like an all-day thing. Like you took like 12 hours to put this thing together. You put your email autoresponders together. You put your tracking. You put everything together. You got your Facebook targeting now, whatever it was. Or you wrote your awesome email copy if you're doing a solo ad. You got to make sure all your links were working. The first time you do it, it's a big deal. You got so many moving parts, and you're trying to structure everything. But the first time you do it, it takes a while. The next time you do it, a little bit less time. And before you know it, it's like second nature. You have that thing smacked together so fast that you're like, oh, cool. That wasn't much, but it's done. So it's still realizing, though, that you're not going to nail it on the head every single time, and you're going to continue to make those ads and those things that don't pan out. Just move on with it, and forgive yourself for doing it. Just forgive yourself. That's what Sheena was talking about as well, is that forgiveness. Don't hang on to those things every time and beat yourself up over it, because sometimes, a lot of times, you feel like you're going to be alone in this space. But you're really not. You have a lot of tools and resources. You have us, you've got Sheena, you've got different tools, and by tools I mean people and systems that you can fall back on to actually help make you more successful and help you fail faster. It's just getting used to it.
Yeah, you have to be humble in knowing that you don't know everything, and that's okay. You don't know what you don't know. And, moving forward, nobody knows everything. As one of our leaders in our community, Aaron Rashkin, always says, the most dangerous words in the English language are, I already know that. So you need to be humble moving forward in, having the ability and, the excitement and the energy to learn moving forward. As you said, if you do one campaign and you just say, oh, that doesn't work, and you give up, you're going to be back where you started. And that's where 99% of people fail in this industry. And any industry, I think.
Well, it's just where they stop. I wouldn't want to say that's where they fail. They'll fail there, and they'll have one hiccup while they're learning, and that's part of the learning process. They're learning to master something, and that's just where they stop. Yeah. They haven't completed the actual failure process to hit the success.
That's right. You don't want to be the jack of all trades and the master of none, as we like to say. Who gets paid more money, the general practitioner or the neurosurgeon? Okay, nothing against general practitioners, we need those, but it's just a good analogy to show, you want to master particular strategies within your business. You don't want to be the jack that knows everything. You want to be great.
I have a brain tumor. Am I going to go to the guy hey doc, the doc on the corner, or am I going to go to the guy that's, down at Berkeley Medical Center specializing in this stuff? That's the cutting edge technology doing this thing, the stuff that can get you fixed. I mean,
and that person mastered their craft. They failed over and over and over again. That got them towards their success. There is no failure. It's only feedback. And you want to be great because that's the only thing that pays you. Your greatness cannot be taken away from anybody. That's what is so awesome. The government can't take that from you. Your family can't take that from you. Your friends can't take that from you. What's great in your mind, nobody can take that away from you. And I really want to get that through to people today, that being great in life is the only thing that will pay and the only thing that works moving forward. And it all starts with you. It all starts with you right now in these last 44 waking hours of time. What are you going to do in the next 44 hours that you're awake, or it could be a little bit more if you don't sleep 8 hours a night? What are you going to do? How are you going to plan? What are you going to do moving forward so that when 2015 rolls around in a couple of days, you're all ready to go? And I mean, if you're watching this and it's already 2015, that's okay. What are you doing right now? What are you doing moving forward? It's always about looking forward. We want to look back and see what we accomplished. What were successes, what were distractions, and what are we going to reinforce? And I think a great thing we also brought up, that Sheena brought up today about forgiveness, I think that's huge. We often carry a lot of baggage on our shoulders. We have grudges with people. We have things that have gone on for years within the family, with friends, and we don't realize how much weight we're actually carrying on our shoulders by not forgiving those people, or at least even having a conversation with that person. Getting things out there. Don't bottle it all up inside. And those kind of things will open up new exciting things for you in your life. I think that, wow, I think we've touched on a lot today, and I think everybody right now can move forward into 2015 with a plan and get set for some awesome stuff. I mean, we've got some great stuff coming up. As Sheena mentioned, we've got our blog, our brand new blog coming out, Kalatu, January 5th. That is coming out, and it is the biggest for-profit blogging platform across the globe that is coming out. And we're just really pumped up and excited about that, because this is everybody's chance to blog. It doesn't matter, whether you're brand new or you're already a pro. This platform is for everybody, and it's branded to any type of niche. You can customize and be you. It's a place for you to be you. If you don't have a home online, as we like to say, you're homeless. If you have a business, you need to be online, and you need to have a blog. You need to have a space where you can get your message out to your target market. And we've got something coming out pretty soon that's, it's just off the charts, and we're really excited about that. And if you want to be in on that right now to make 2015 a great year for you, you can click the button below and get in right now and join us and get started and get a head start for 2015. Or even get back to one of us here, whoever invited you to this call. Get back to them. Don't think you can't ask questions. I think a lot of people think that their questions are silly questions when it comes to online marketing, but there's no wrong questions to ask.
Well, I might give people a silly answer if it truly is a really silly question. I will give them a silly answer, but normally I'll generally help.
Yeah, feel free to leave any questions or comments below the video, or get back to the person that invited you to this call today. If you want to find out more about what it is we're doing, and how you can have fun and give back to the world and give back value like what we're doing right now. We have a lot of fun when we do this, and going into 2015, we're going to have a lot of cool topics, a lot of cool stuff coming your way, because it's our intention to bring you guys as much value as we possibly can to get you where you want to be in your life and within your business. So yeah, I'm really, really pumped up. We've gone through a lot today, and I'm going to get myself one of those journals, Sheena.
Yeah, I just love it. I mean, it's just like the stuff they have in here, and like the positive quotes. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I really want to get myself one of those, because I'm a big note taker, but I think it would be cool to have a special looking book like that, Yeah.
I mean, especially when you feel like crap, and just come here and you're like, oh, I feel better.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know who I heard this from, and I don't know the validity behind it all, but someone was talking about before about people that actually journal daily or write daily, whether they make it like a habit. People that actually write daily, specifically for journaling or getting their thoughts and ideas out, or writing for a set defined period of time just to get ideas in the brain flow and everything. Those people actually outperform other people as far as income potential.
Mm.
Something crazy. I don't know the number on it, but I'm going to go back through and try to find out exactly what it was, because that's actually, it's interesting, because I know that Tony Robbins was talking about it before. I know that who's the guy with Virgin Airlines? Richard Branson.
Yeah.
He actually journals as well daily, like writes daily. There's a couple other people that actually, well, there's more than a couple, but there's a lot of people actually write daily, and it helps them just get totally clear on where they're at, where they're going, where they've been daily. So those are people that are extremely focused and extremely driven to get their ideas out. But those people outperform other people income-wise, like something astronomical. You know, it's something that you wouldn't think about it, but it's something, some crazy number. But I'm gonna figure it out, and I'll dump that number over to Sheena if you want to like it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that too. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, people don't realize sometimes it's just these small daily actions that will yield, massive results. That's why we have core commitments that tell us to read daily, to blog daily, to market daily. Because when you do things daily, that's how you get that viral effect, that that overnight success or whatever. And it's not really overnight. It's really, you've been building it day in, day out, day in, day out. That's what success is, building it day in and day out. And when you guys were talking about failure, I actually saw this statement somewhere, and they said, most of the times you might fail 9 out of 10 times, but that one time that you do succeed could benefit like 80% of the population. So just because you fail 10, 20, 30 times, that one time you succeed, that could impact the whole world, and you might not even realize it. I mean, look at Colonel Sanders. Got 1,000 no's before someone said yes to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and now it's worldwide. 1,000 people who turned him down must be kicking their heads for saying no. And Thomas Edison, 10,000 ways to figure out how not to work a light bulb, right? Look where the light bulb is now. Like, it's affected the whole world. So, don't think of failure as failure. Just think of it as feedback. And I know it's easier said than done, because we're all human, and I've been there. I just feel like sometimes, what am I doing wrong? Instead of saying that, start asking the right questions. What is right about me? What can I do? What can I give to society? What is instead of saying what is wrong about me, start saying what is right about me. What have I succeeded in life? And when you start listing down what you've succeeded and what is right about you, then you start attracting great things into your life. So start the year right, especially with your mindset. Training is all 80%, and the how-to is 20%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm really excited right now, because whether you guys are with us or you're not, we're going to be moving forward, and we're really excited with what's coming out with our blog and all of our plans for 2015 moving forward, and we've got some really awesome stuff planned out for everybody on these Hangouts. So, we look forward to seeing you in the new year, and, hit that link below if, you're ready to take 2015 to the next level, because it doesn't matter, if you're brand new or you're a pro, what kind of business you have. We have the education and the tools that can get you and your life and your business to the next level. And, I don't know if you've got any final thoughts before we close out, but you got to do whatever it takes. Don't put stipulations on that. Don't make excuses. It's all about doing whatever it takes. And I think that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I know that holding yourself accountable is the key to it as well. Nobody else is going to tell you when to wake up, when to show up for this type of business. The cool part about at least marketing online or branding yourself online is that, at least for me, it was that you get to choose really who you are, which is kind of cool, because when you get to define what it is that makes you unique, you're basically staking your own flag on the ground and saying, this is me, this is my space, this is what I want to be known for with my business and what I'm about. And I always thought that was really cool, because it doesn't matter where you've been at in your past. Marketing online is actually really cool, because you don't need your own products. You can market other people's products and stuff, and But it still boils down to, like, that success only comes back to your own accountability on yourself. If you, whatever you need to do, whatever it takes mentality, if the first thing that you need to do is actually just get started, well, 2015 is going to be too late. It starts now. Click the button down below, get started, get back to whoever invited you to this hangout today, but click the button below, get started. I always tell everybody, I think it was Dean Jackson and Joe Polish that have the I Love Marketing podcast. The one thing they always say that cracks me up is, hey, stick around because the pitch is free. It's not going to cost you anything. So click the button below, get started, but you got to be in it to at least get what you want. You have to at least be present. So for 2015, going forward, be present and be accountable. Hold yourself accountable for the results that you're going to get. No one else is going to go out there and get them for you. As Grant Cardone says, it's your duty, it's your right, and your obligation to your friends, your family, yourself, and the people that you want to be around for in your life. It's your duty and right and obligation to hold yourself accountable and for you to be present, because no one else will be there for it. Whether that's in your current job, even you don't even have to use this stuff for online. Even in your current daily life, hold yourself accountable on it. Whether it's building that new project that you have. If you're a guy and you've got an old rusty car out in the garage that you've never rebuilt and you keep saying that you're going to get to it, if you're not going to get to it, sell it. Get it to somebody who will do it. Hold yourself accountable for what's important in your life. And not, oh, I'll get to it later, I'll get to it tomorrow, because tomorrow doesn't come. Do it now. Just take the initiative to do it now and get going today, and really start defining yourself in this space. Because if you can't define it, trust me, somebody else will be in this space to define who they are really fast. It will get filled. Sometimes a lot of people will say that the room up at the top, there's actually a lot of room up at the top. But down at the bottom, there's a lot of fighting going on down at the bottom. And as you get your way up towards the top, you start defining who you are in this space. There's a lot of room up there, and it's smooth sailing. It's a lot of clear skies. And it's realizing those, what you had to go through to get there. But hold yourself accountable on the way, because no one else will. I mean, you think that Alesha, nags at me to get going and doing things I need to do? No, it's really it's up to me. It's up to me. We'll have our moments, but it's up to me, really. No one else is gonna do anything else for me. We're all grown adults, and I mean, there was a kid that was 12 years old. That made like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Switzerland. I don't know. He was somewhere, but this kid was like 12 or 13 years old. And he was coming home from school, doing his homework and stuff first. And he actually, he had his parents' permission, of course. And this kid made like $12,000 in like 12 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Like this kid was just, these are tools that he learned online.
Yeah.
Like how to market online. Like these are tools that are going to continue to grow. That was years ago, like 2 years ago, that this kid did this.
Yeah, his parents signed him up. Like, they were the smartest parents in the world. They signed him up, and
of course, I'm not claiming that this is ever an easy button, or you're going to get in and the clouds are going to part, doves are going to fly, and you're going to have smooth sailing for everything. No, you got to get in and you got to do the work. I'm not claiming this is any type of get rich quick or anything like that. That's not what this is about. These are actually about learning real skills in every aspect of your life that you can apply to continue to grow a business and actually continue to make money online using the real tools and techniques of real people that do it effectively. These are taught by real people that walk the walk and actually walk the talk. These are people that walk their talk. These are people that do this every day. They're not people that are doing something different than what they're telling you to do. These are people that are doing what they're showing you how to do every day, and they take you behind the scenes and they show you everything that needs to be done and how they run their business. And it's something where you can't get this type of education anywhere else. You might get little tidbits of information here and there, but never in one complete package with everything. So click the button down below, get started. 2015 is right around the corner. We've still got some things that we need to get done. I know that we're going to mastermind a little bit more with Sheena as well when we're off of here. we've got some really great stuff coming out as well. You know, so I look forward to what 2015 has in store. I know our kitty's looking excited over here too. Hi.
Yeah. Oh, she's awake. Yeah, you know, just on that, you know, you can visit our live income disclosure. It's actually, there's a link at the bottom of this page.
Oh, yes.
And you can also visit income.mavericklifestyles.com because results are not typical or guaranteed, so you can check that out. It's actually live. I believe that we are the only network marketing company out there that has a live income disclaimer. I believe. I don't know if that's 100% true, but yeah.
I think we are. I mean, there are some companies who have income disclaimers, but they're like 4 years old. It's time to update that stuff.
Yeah, ours is live. I think it's updated every 24 hours. So we don't have an income disclosure from 5 years ago. We can show you what's working now. You know, and you don't want to be average. You don't want to look at the average earnings and say, yep, that's me. You know, you don't want to be average. You want to be above average. You want to be great. And moving into 2015, you know, that's what we want to focus on. So, Sheena, if you've got any final thoughts before we close out.
My only thing is take action today. I mean, you're watching this because you see us giving you some tips, and, you know, if you want more, you just got to click the button below because you get, you know, more in-depth, you know, lessons, courses, mindset training through these courses. I mean, we buy them for a reason because we love using them, and it's helped us in so many ways. I mean, I started with not figuring out how to blog to be able to blog every day and learn to give out value and create relationships with some of the most amazing people on the internet. And it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for this blog. So, you know, if you want something that can help you get your message spread out into the internet faster, this is it, right? I mean, there's nothing else like it. I mean, I love using it. My day now pretty much, you know, my day feels like it doesn't feel complete unless I blog and, you know, share it with others so that they can learn something that can help them become a better marketer, because that's what we really need in this industry, just to help others become better marketers, to be able to help them learn how to attract people instead of them chasing everyone around. So click the button below. Start today. Be ahead of everyone else. Be that person who does a little bit more than the rest.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome stuff, Sheena. Yeah, well, we're excited, and, you know, you want to get ahead for 2015. You want to be great because nothing else pays. So, you know, we all want to wish you a happy new year. You know, be safe wherever you're at. If you're partying or just chilling out at home, you know, have a good night, and, you know, we'll see you back for our first hangout in the new year, which will also be, I believe, the same day that our brand new blog comes out, which will be January 5th. So, you know, we're excited, we're pumped. Hit that button below, and we will see you next year.